I'm Domenico Rossi. I'm the writer and director of Pescador.
I'm Annie Raziel. I'm a producer of Pescador.
And also my
Amazing.
wife.
Husband and wife.
Yes. Pescador follows two parallel stories. The first is about a marine biologist looking for a mythical, magical fish in the jungles of Costa Rica. And kind of as she about follows her, she kind of spirals into self-isolation and depression. The second story follows a Costa Rican fisherman who prays to God for a son, catches a magical lobster. The lobster talks to him and grants him one wish. And the next day he finds a 27-year-old American man floating in the ocean. Happens to be the brother of the woman from the first half of the film. And the brother and the fisherman don't get along with each other. And it kind of follows their relationship. And then towards the end of the film, the stories kind of very, very lightly intersect with one another.
There's a dreamlike quality to your film and magical realist elements. Is this based on dreams that you may have had?
It's loosely based on dreams. I think in 2018, I was in a coma for a week. And during that period of time in the coma, I had very, very long dreams about the ocean and about fish. And I wanted to make a movie that explored those images and those dreams.
Do you remember? Because you're in a coma for a week. Did you remember everything when you woke up, or how? Or did it come later?
I remembered
Memories?
elements of it. I mean, the dreams, when you're in a coma for a week, the dreams tend to last very, very long periods of time. You know how, like, in Inception, they talk about, like, dream world lasting much longer than waking life. And it kind of
Wow.
feels like that you're in dreams, but feel like weeks at a time, months at a time. And so it's a kind of a different world almost. And there's some dreams that I had that were not related to the ocean at all, but the ones that stuck out to me the most were the ones that were ocean related.
Why do you think you dreamt of the ocean? Do you have a relationship with the ocean?
I mean, I've always been interested in nature and in animals. When I was really, really young, my dream job was to be, when I was in elementary school, my dream job was to be the person who filmed Steve Irwin on Animal Planet. So I've loved nature, and I love animals. I'm not really sure what brought me to the ocean, but it was something that really stuck.
I think there's something unknowable about the sea. I love the fact that we know less about the bottom of the ocean than we do about outer space. And I think that there's this quality of trying to get back to those dreams and of the unknowability of who Harry was during that time when he was in a coma. The doctor said, we don't know if he'll be the same person. We don't know if he'll have the same personality when he wakes up. And so there's this kind of longing, this past that's kind of murky. And I think that magical realism is kind of as close as we can get to capturing that.
Yes, and I love the talking animals
Yes.
aspect.
I was reading a lot of stories from 1001 Arabian Nights, this newer translation that had come out in the US. And I was really taken with the talking animals and a lot of those stories, and with just a lot of the mythology and fables surrounding fishermen. It involved a lot of talking fish, talking animals. And I kind of wanted to mix mythology and fables with a more grounded story to kind of enhance that dreamlike quality of the film.
Yes, it definitely does that. Have you ever spoken to an animal in that capacity?
Um,
Or had that conversation?
I've tried to. I feel like I've tried to talk to lizards and reptiles and snakes, but they've never spoken back to me.
Oh,
Not yet.
they will one day.
I'm hoping they will. Yeah.
So your characters, are they? What was your inspiration for them?
So for the son character, the American son character, that is kind of loosely based on a character I had made a couple short films about in college. It's the same actor that portrays that character. We started collaborating together at the art school we went to in North Carolina. And I kind of was really interested in the idea. And this character in these short films was kind of like this very, very aggressive, kind of violent, American man. And I was very interested in kind of taking this kind of aggressive character who in these short films was often in situations he had a lot of control in, and removing all of that control, putting him in a scenario, in a country, in a situation that was incredibly foreign to him.
Yeah.
In the film, he doesn't speak Spanish. He doesn't know how he ended up in this village. He's adrift at sea when we see him for the first time. It's not explained how he even got into the ocean. So that's kind of the inspiration for him. The woman character, I'm not really entirely sure what the inspiration for that was. I just had this kind of image of a woman wandering around the countryside in Costa Rica and was really taken with that image and wanted to explore that further. And the fisherman kind of also emerging from fables. Lots and lots of fables come from fishermen, stories. I think, being a fisherman is one of the oldest professions to ever exist. And so it's not surprising that some of our oldest mythology, oldest fables center on fishermen.
Yeah. The casting process, what was that like?
So, I cast Spencer because I knew him. I wrote the role for him. So, that was very easy. The other two roles of the lead roles were much, much more difficult to cast. With Alex, who plays the American lead actress, she plays the American marine biologist in the movie. We had someone who was going to play that role, and then they were not able to do it, and so we didn't really have anyone to do it, and it was difficult to find someone kind of on short notice who would be able to come from the United States to Costa Rica on an incredibly independent film. We started shooting before we even cast her. We shot the fisherman segments of the film first, and we're just hoping to find someone with no guarantee. She was recommended through a friend of Spencer, our lead actor, and I was doing interviews and auditions with her on Zoom at the end of days after 12-hour days of shooting in Costa Rica on the ocean in boats. And after doing just 2 auditions with her, I felt like she was perfect.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can you be in Costa Rica in a week and a half?" And she just said yes. And so she's incredible in the film. She was such a find. We were so lucky to find her.
Were you stressed?
Yes.
I was stressed from the day one to the last
He
day.
wakes up stressed.
Yeah.
If you're not having that secured and you're
Yeah, but
filming.
also, with this kind of movies, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't secured. I mean, even not just the lead roles, but a lot of the side roles we cast just a day or two before. Sometimes we'd cast a very tiny role on the street while we were shooting, just flag someone down. Can you be in this movie? Yeah, literally,
Yes.
can you be in this movie right now? And a lot of people would just say yes. Some people would say no, but a lot of people would say yes. And but with Mario, the fisherman, he is an actual fisherman that we met through our Costa Rican producer, Jimena. And she had put him in a political ad in Costa Rica a while ago. So he kind of showed us images of him, and I was like, I'd love to meet this guy. Not even sure if I was going to cast him. So I met him in the fishing village of Tarcoles in Costa Rica.
God, cool.
And I wasn't initially going to, I kind of imagined it initially as being a much older fisherman.
Yeah.
And he's a bit more middle-aged. And I just fell in love with him immediately. He was so smart and funny and interesting and just incredibly kind. And I was just taken with him. And so I spent a couple days thinking about wanting to cast him. And then after I said, we have to do it, let's contact him. And he was uncontactable because he was at sea and he didn't have his phone on. So we were leaving voicemails for him like, hey, when you get this, can you talk to us? And then,
Lucky.
he finally got back from fishing in the ocean, and then he said yes.
Wow.
But from the jump, we thought it would be easier to teach a fisherman how to act than teach an actor how to convincingly
fisherman.
fish. Yeah.
That is interesting.
We took his lead a lot on a lot of the fishing stuff in the film. And there's a scene in the movie where Mario and Spencer, I'm calling them by their real first names because the characters don't have actual names in the movies, where Mario and Spencer fish for the first time. And when we were shooting that, I said to Mario, just teach Spencer how to fish and we're just going to film it. And that ended up being one of, if not my favorite scene in the entire film.
Wow. And he just jumped it. He knew what to do.
Yeah.